And now we go to the next page, which tells us more of our current state, more of the current state of humanity.
Yeah.
So you can begin. We'll cover quite a bit today.
Okay.
But meanwhile,
all is a shadow cast by a dream, and to the musing and immobile spirit, life and himself don the aspect of a myth, the burden of a long unmeaning tale. For the key is hid and by the inconscient kept. The secret God beneath the threshold dwells, in a body obscuring the immortal spirit, a nameless resident vesting unseen powers, with matter's shapes and motives beyond thought, and the hazard,
hazard,
and the hazard of an unguessed consequence, an omnipotent, indis, I don't know the word. Indiscernible, an omnipotent, indiscernible influence. He sits unfelt by the form in which he lives, and veils his knowledge by the groping mind. Uh-huh.
Quite a lot here.
Yeah.
So the first line tells us that all is a shadow cast by a dream. Well, later, many times in Savitri, we'll find that the dream is more true than reality.
Okay.
He is the dreamer and he is the dream. Quotes like that bring out the importance of the dream to our lives. But here, meanwhile, just for the time being, everything's a shadow. That is the shadow that is cast by a dream, and to the musing and immobile spirit, this is the higher spirit, the soul, life and himself, man, don the aspect of a myth, the burden of a long, unmeaning tale. And so many have experienced this, lived it, written about it. The nihilists, the existentialists, the Buddhists, all have said, this is an unmeaning tale. We have to just get out of it. And each one found a different way to get out of it. Some through moksha, some through just disavowing the whole world, saying it's a chimera, a comic and sad and tragic experience. It's filled with wars, hatred, prejudice. We could go on and on. So it seems to be the burden. It seems to be a long, unmeaning tale. Why? Because the key is hidden and it's kept by the inconscient. And there's a semicolon there, I think, or is that?
Yeah, semicolon.
Yeah. So the secret God is living in man, but beneath the threshold. When we're at the threshold of a house, We have to step over it to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And God is living beneath that threshold in each of us, in a body that obscures the immortal spirit.
Mm-hmm.
This human body, with all its desires, its problems, its ills, its diseases, its anger, obviously obscures the divine who is within us. It's only when we begin to bring him out that we begin to feel something different. Our life has changed somehow. We don't quite know how, because we don't have him at the front of our consciousness all the time, but we feel something that others don't feel. Or if they do feel something, it's for a cult or a religious practice, dogma, ritual, something that they can do once a week on a Sunday, perhaps. But this living thing, the nameless resident, he is vesting. Vesting means to vest something, to
guarantee, or like to
yes, to guarantee. He's vesting,
voting for it or something like that. Like
I think so.
He's for it.
He's for it. He's actually actualizing those things, actualizing unseen powers. With matter shapes and with the motives that are beyond thought. And the hazard, the difficulty, challenge of an unguessed consequence. And he is an omnipotent, indiscernible, you can't make him out, influence. He is all those things. He's a nameless resident. He's an omnipotent, indiscernible influence. He's the secret God. So we see all of these things Sri Aurobindo is telling us are within us. All of this is already within us. We don't realize it. So, and veils his knowledge by the groping mind. Wow, that's so. The groping mind, when we grope for something, we seek for it. I'm groping in the dark for a pencil, for a light, for a flashlight, something. I'm groping for it. So this groping mind is unfortunately veiling the divine knowledge. And therefore we have to learn to rise first to the higher mind, then to the illumined mind, eventually to the intuitive mind, and eventually after that to the overmind, and eventually the supermind. Right now, we just have a groping mind, veiling God's knowledge. But he sits in us. He sits and veils his knowledge. So Mother often said, but he's right here in each of you. It's open to find him. So you can carry on.
A wanderer in a world his thoughts have made, he turns into a
chiaroscuro.
He turns in a chiaroscuro of error and truth to find the wisdom.
Okay, now there's something I want to stop right here, because You are tending to drop the last word of the line.
Okay.
And I've heard people do that many times. We don't want to drop it because it's sort of a depressive thing. A wanderer in a thought, in a world his thoughts have made. No. A wanderer in a world his thoughts have made. See,
Okay.
and it leads us to the next sentence. Good. Good.
A wanderer in a world his thoughts have made.
No,
He turns.
dropped it again. Made.
Okay.
Made.
Made. Okay. A wanderer in a world his thoughts have made. He turns in a chiaroscuro.
Chiaroscuro.
He turns in a chiaroscuro of error and truth to find a wisdom that on high is his.
Probably we should stop there because those are 3 lines. A little difficult. A wanderer in a world his thoughts have made. You see, I say made. I don't say made. Made. I don't drop the sound.
Okay.
So he turns in a chiaroscuro of error and truth. A chiaroscuro is usually, we call it a play of shadow and light.
Okay.
I can give you the exact, but that's basically what it is. When painters paint in chiaroscuro, they're working with a play of shade and light. Okay, here it is. The arrangement of light and dark elements in a pictorial work of art. Poetic. Now, poetic. Contrasting sense as in darkness and light, joy and gloom, praise and blame. So there it is, basically.
Okay.
It's this play. So he, who is he? Who is this wanderer?
Who's absolute?
Yes, yes. He's a wanderer in a world that his thoughts have made. He's made this world, no one else. That is why Sri Aurobindo writes in another place in Savitri, and in the worm foresees the coming God. Because everything here is divine. If all is God, how can anything be not divine? Only unfortunately, we turn it to evil and hate and revolutions and coups and things like that. The human mind does this, the groping mind. So he's turning in this play of error and truth to find a wisdom that is actually already his at the very height in Satchidananda. Now you can continue.
As one forgetting, he searches for himself, as if he had lost an inner light he seeks, as a sojourner lingering amid alien scenes. He journeys to a home he knows no more. His own self's truth he seeks. Who is the truth? He is the play who became the play. He is the thinker who became the thought. He is the many who was the silent one.
Now, how did you accomplish raising up your voice at the end of those 2 lines? It was perfect.
Okay.
Big difference. big. Now maybe you're getting the
I
idea.
don't know how I do it. It's
Oh, but you
some.
felt it. You felt it within. That's why you do it.
Mm,
You're not just reading lines there. You really felt that he was the player, and you felt that he became the play. And you said,
yeah.
perfect, perfect. Okay. We're still talking about the divine now.
Yeah.
And he says that as one forgetting, he searches for himself.
Mm,
As one. Here we are again, as if, as one for, and as if next, and then as a,
yeah.
and then he is, he is, he is, all of these things that poetry says you cannot do.
Hmm.
As one forgetting, he searches for himself. As if he had lost an inner light, he seeks. As a sojourner, lingering amid alien scenes. A sojourner is one who's,
A lonely traveler?
yeah, pretty much, exactly. He seems to be here lingering. I think we picked up lingering, or maybe I did it with Nelisha. To linger is to hang around,
Yeah.
lingering amid alien scenes. Why are these things alien? Oh, because they're no longer beautiful.
Mm,
They're no longer filled with truth and love.
mm,
Alien scenes. You go to Los Angeles, there's an alien scene there.
okay.
You go to other places where there are riots. This is an alien scene to the divine.
Mm,
As a sojourner, but he's only a sojourner. He's not a permanent resident.
mm,
As a sojourner, lingering amid alien scenes, he journeys to a home he knows no more. Why doesn't he know that home anymore? Because it's so totally different from what he would want it to be, what he has created, what he has seen, what he has put out from himself of beauty and love and knowledge and truth, and
mm,
nothing's there anymore.
mm.
So he journeys to a home he knows no more. And then we can continue on a little bit.
And then we went until he's the many who was the silent one.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, sorry. His own self-truth he seeks. Who is the truth?
Mm,
So we know that he's the truth,
mm,
and yet he's seeking his own self-truth
mm,
in this milieu of, so his own self-truth he seeks. Who is the truth?
mm,
He is the player who became the play. He is the thinker who became the thought. He is the many who was the silent one. And this, of course, we've covered already before, because in the life divine, he is the many in one, and he is one in many.
yeah.
And we'll go a little further and stop just to the break.
Yeah.
Slight break.
In the symbol figures of the cosmic force, and in her living and inanimate signs, and in her complex tracery of events, he explores the ceaseless miracle of himself till the thousandfold enigma has been solved in the single light of an all-witnessing soul.
Ah, yes. So let me just give you a feeling of this word here that we have tracery. Tracery is any delicate interlacing work of lines or threads, as in carving or embroidery. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, this is so interesting. In the symbol figures of the cosmic force, and in her living, who is her living? Her is the cosmic force.
Yeah.
The force of the divine creatrix. And in her complex tracery of events. So in all of these things, he is exploring the ceaseless miracle of himself. And this we can only begin to understand when we rise above this ordinary mind. There's no way else we can understand anything on human level with the groping mind.
Yeah.
So he is exploring this ceaseless miracle of himself, which is creation and evolution on earth. That's part of the ceaseless. Why did he have to do it? He did it because he wanted to explore different parts of his eternity, his infallibility, of his perfection. That's why the world was created. Till the thousandfold enigma has been solved. How will it be solved? In the single light of a soul that can witness everything. That soul, of course, was a dual soul this time, Mother and Aurobindo. So we'll review again from the beginning. We have a little time yet.
Okay.
But meanwhile, all is a shadow cast by a dream. And to the musing, when we muse on something, we cogitate, we think about it. And to the musing and immobile spirit, life and himself dawn something. To dawn means to put on.
Okay.
Well, I'll don a new suit. I'll don a new dress, new hat. They don the aspect of a myth and the burden of a long, unmeaning tale. Well, of course, everything, if it's a shadow cast by a dream, the musing and the immobile spirit, the soul, is going to see life and himself donning the aspect of a myth, the burden of a long, unmeaning tale. Why? Because the key is hid and kept by the inconscient. And the secret God is dwelling beneath the threshold. Beneath. So he doesn't even say before the threshold. He says beneath the threshold, because the inconscient is beneath. In a body obscuring the immortal spirit, a nameless resident who puts out unseen powers with matter shapes and motives beyond thought, and the hazard of an unguessed consequence, an omnipotent, indiscernible influence, he sits, unfelt by the form in which he lives, and veils his knowledge by the groping mind. You see how I have not dropped the last word on any of those lines. I've not increased them, but sometimes they could be increased a little bit. But we don't want to be overly dramatic in poetry also.
Okay.
So the divine is a wanderer in a world that his thoughts have made. And he turns in this play of error and death, shadow and falsehood, and all of these opposites. This chiaroscuro, this fine shading of light and dark. He calls it here error and truth, which is much more powerful. So he turns in a chiaroscuro, which is an Italian word, by the way,
Okay.
of error and truth, to find a wisdom that is actually his on high. As one forgetting, he searches for himself. As if he had lost an inner light, he seeks. As a sojourner who hangs around amid alien scenes, so this sojourner now journeys. Interesting. And the sojourner, who is there part-time, now begins to journey to a home he knows no more. His own self-truth he seeks. Who is the truth? He is the player who became the play. He is the thinker who became the thought. He is the many who was the silent one. In the symbol figures of the cosmic force, and in her living and inanimate signs, and in her complex tracery of events, he explores the ceaseless miracle of himself. So through all the living and inanimate signs and the complex tracery of events that the Prakriti creates, he explores the ceaseless miracle of himself. Until the thousandfold enigma has been solved. Now, he calls it here a thousandfold enigma. My goodness. A puzzle, a thousandfold puzzle. Imagine a thousandfold puzzle. Just a simple puzzle that we would have to put together.
Yeah.
This whole creation is the thousandfold puzzle.
Yeah.
Until it's solved, where? In the single light of a soul that can see everything. Any questions?
This last line, I was wondering if he was really, not maybe there's still more unfolding of it to do because the work has begun. But it reminded me of the mother, like in a single light of an all witnessing soul. Because in between, I read somewhere that she was experiencing her body as the body. So as the body of everything, as everybody's body on her. So I was somewhere feeling that, like she started the movement of all witnessing soul within her. So in somewhere there, like maybe also Sri Aurobindo did, but I have not, I've read of this of her. So in a single light of an all witnessing soul. So I felt like somewhere maybe she has already started this journey for us and for the
she's not only started it, she's brought it down. She broke the door and the golden light flooded upon the earth. That was the supramental. 23 years after Sri Aurobindo sacrificed his body, to put it into the earth, to put the supramental into the earth. When she broke that door, it flooded the earth. And now it is available to every soul in this whole world.
Okay.
She made that possible. Yes, she is the force, the inevitable word, the magnet of our difficult descent, the sun from which we kindle all our suns, the light that leans from the unrealized vasts, the joy that beckons from the impossible. All nature dumbly calls to her alone to heal with her feet the aching throb of life and break the seals on the dim soul of man and kindle her fire in the closed heart of things. All here shall be one day her witnesses home. All contraries prepare her harmony. We will get to that passage eventually, long time from now, but we will get to that passage.
Okay.
And correct, it is the mother who is the all-witnessing soul, and it is Sri Aurobindo also.
Mm.
Wonderful. So see you a little later.
See you later.